from the mansion. I shouldn't laugh. It shouldn't be a joke. And we're going to talk more about that in another episode on money because, I've said this before. I'll say it again. Chad and I do this for fun. I mean, it would be great to have a big audience. That would be fun. We could monetize it and be capitalist pigs. But honestly, it's fun. Why not? So Chad, who does all the cool stuff, who keeps track of the analytics, he sends me a note and he said last week's video on money, which was quite long, it got more views than any of the other videos. So I was like, all right, well, let's push it. I mean, if money gets y'all excited, let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about me and me. That's right. I changed the lyrics for myself. First of all, check this out. I'm wearing one of these prairie dresses that are like so trendy now. I wear them because they're loose and I get to feel naked without being naked, because I guess some people might be a little scared of that. I mean, not me naked, just like nudity. Anyway, so my prairie dress popped itself open. I mean, isn't that a look like Ma Walton getting ready to turn pot on? So, sex. Last week, my friends are like, don't give trigger warnings. I'm going to give trigger warnings because I have PTSD. So this conversation is going to involve a lot of graphic stuff, a lot of painful stuff, and let's just pop right out of the gates and say, the last time I had physical contact with a penis, I don't want to really call it sex because in hindsight, I truly believe I was raped. Now that's a lot. That's a big word to use. And I've written about this extensively. I'm not going to go too far into it just because I've written about it extensively. But my last partner, who dumped me, ironically, he dumped me 4 years ago. The last time we were involved physically, he turned on a gangbang porn, which he watched the whole time. I was just a piece of meat for him. And then when he was done, he goes, well, I guess I needed that. It's a true story. It's sad, right? I'm not sad anymore. I'm 4 years past that. I've done a ton of work in therapy and meditation and all. I'm fine. It sucked back then, but I'm fine. Anyway, after that, shortly after, a week later, he dumped me. And then I found out all sorts of things, that he'd been cheating. Somewhere along the way, I'd found out that he was a meth head. And I'm like, and then I thought about, there were other times, 2 times in bed, wasn't like a sex game, that there was prior consent. He just hauled off and hit me in the face. Each time I had what I later found out has a name for it, which is like non-reaction, reaction, something like that. I mean, I was just so stunned, because you might say, like, why the fuck wouldn't you leave somebody like the first time that happens? It's complicated. If you want to go down that avenue, I highly recommend Googling the expression trauma bonding. That's what I was in. But anyway, let's talk about fun sex now, right? I don't have sex anymore. And years ago, I was having this conversation with my son's father, who's a great friend of mine. And obviously we had sex at least once, just once. And we did great. I mean, you should meet Henry. But I was telling him, I don't want to die without having like one more good round of sex. I don't care if it's 10 minutes or a weekend or whatever, like a vaginal palate cleansing. And I wasn't asking him to do me this favor. I was just like, I'm really sad that he said, I don't remember if it was Socrates or Plato or Aristotle, but he quoted one of those guys as saying, like, when your sex drive bails on you, it's like getting off a wild horse. It's actually a wonderful feeling. But at the time, I was like pushing back. I'm like, no. I don't want that to happen. I want to just have a good experience before it goes away. But then, you know what? It went away. And it turns out it's okay. I don't want my last memory of sex to be that memory I just shared with you. But you know what? I can choose to just put that down and just walk away from it as best as possible and be thankful, because I know that's a weird thing to say, and I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I signed a soul contract with someone to rape me. I don't do that. I'm just saying that in the 4 years since, and most especially in 1 year of lockdown, I finally got this amazing space and time to realize I'm not sure I ever even really liked sex. So I'm not going to, I like to talk in broader stories, like, because I would love to hear in the comments about you and your sex stuff, but like, I look back, and I do get sick of pathologizing stuff, but therapy helps. Psychology is like my religion. It helps me to kind of sort out my PTSD and manage it. And, I don't like this idea that, oh, I just had sex for external validation or male approval or whatever, but man, I was born in 1964. Like, male gaze, male approval, male dominance, it's in the air. It was in the air, it's still in the air, it was in the air a lot thicker back then. And so I just, what do dudes want? Dudes want to fuck. If I fuck a dude, he's gonna like me. Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun along the way, and I've also sort of teased this out in that, right, I'm an addict, a recovering addict. I don't drink anymore, but I still do my coffee and whatever. The thing is, I am very black and white. I'm 0 or 11. Hard for me to get into the center there, which I'm already ready to go off on a tangent. And that is like, in my entire life, as my adult life, I've been single the majority of my life. And that doesn't mean I can't have sex. And hello, the 80s. I had enough sex in the 80s to sort of like last me a lifetime. But, I was talking about external validation. So, and being an addict, and let's face it, there is totally a chemical change when you get off, or I get off, or you get me off, or I get you off. There's a chemical change. And I know now, in hindsight, that was another way that my mind was like, please just give me something to make me feel different. As with the alcohol, the cigarettes, all of it. And sex with a fun partner, I think it's great to change one's feeling for a few moments through that. And I'm smiling now because I'm thinking of a particular person who I love very much. And if you're out there listening, you are totally invited to come to the mansion, and we can attempt to have like awkward, arthritic old people sex, because I know we are just going to laugh and laugh. And when I think of that person, okay, here's what I'm getting at. I'm not saying anything new here, but there's nothing sexier than the mind. Nothing sexier. And this person who I just referred to, let me see, what should I call him? I'll call him Roland. Roland and I had a good thing going in the 80s, and we have stayed friends throughout the years, and we laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. And like the sex was just a little lanyap, that was fun and silly. And also Roland and I talk on the phone like, I don't know, once every 2 or 3 years, he'll call me up late at night. And I can always tell he's having drinks while we're talking, because maybe an hour or two into the conversation, he'll start flashing back. And he has me locked in his mind as 23 and hot. And whatever our society says is hot, but his definition of hot, he had desire for me, And now I'm going to go off on a tangent and say my friend Muffy Bolden, she points this thing out is we get to this age where we're like unfuckable, like, oh my God, look at that white hair and shit. And then we're like, well, you guys are going to ignore us. Well, fine, I'll just go over here and knit or whatever. And then we get so comfortable and delighted about not giving a fuck that suddenly we're glowing and like, look at my glove. Very fuckable, right? No thanks. Not interested. So sex is complicated. I wish it weren't complicated. For me, the complication goes all the way back to, all right, I'm 57. I think I had a hysterectomy, I'm going to say, was when Henry was first getting his driver's license. Has been 16 years without a uterus. Awesome. I highly recommend it. But why was I talking about my uterus? These tangents. Okay, got it. So I don't even have a uterus, and I'm still waiting for my mom to tell me about my first period. I mean, I literally did not get information other than a film strip in 5th grade and a pamphlet left on my bed. And hilariously, I grew up when I was 26 and I was hired by Tampax to rewrite their little pamphlet to give to 5th grade girls. I was not allowed to talk about blood or anything like that. I had to creatively describe menstruation without actually describing it. I mean, this is so fucked up. That was back in 1992. Hopefully things have changed by now. I mean, when I grew up, we weren't allowed to use tampons because I think it was going to take our virginity. Looking back, I'd much rather give my virginity up to like an obese super large than... I did not have a good first experience. I still don't know who I lost my virginity to. I've got it narrowed down to 2, and so either it was a date rape or me being kind of blackout drunk. Again, I'm not here to make you sad. I'm just saying I'm reflecting. So now I finally let go of this idea of a heteronormative relationship, which I think the only thing it would give me that other relationships don't is dick, because I've always considered myself hetero. I got everything else. I have friendship, partnership, unconditional love, self-love. That took a long time. Joy, creativity. I don't. In giving up not only sex, but in giving up the idea of ever seeking it out again or giving it away. Nah, I just set all that aside, and holy moly, I have so much time, and I have so much joy, and I have so much peace. I guess I'm saying that at my age, it's not worth it. So fess up, you guys. How many of you are like, don't give a rat's ass about, not getting laid? Or how many of you use sex for validation? Or, you know what? I want to talk about sex. Trying to think if there's anything else. Well, let me just say, in defense of my mother, who grew up Catholic, and was born in the 30s, when my son was, he was probably 8 at the dinner table when I put a condom on a banana, and he's just like, Mom, please. I was being overcompensatory. And if you listen to all these videos, I try to work that word compensatory in as often as possible, because I love the word compensatory. One day, I'll tell you why, but not today. Anyway, another time when Henry was 11, and he was taking the trash out, and all of a sudden, I just panicked. Mom panic. And I swung around to him, and I said, Henry, are you having sex? And he looks at me, and he says, Mom, I'm 11. I'm taking out the trash. That's what's happening here. And then I got him this book that was called What's Up Down There. Not unlike my mom giving me a pamphlet. I gave him a chance to talk about it. He didn't and wanted to talk about that with me. I give him this book, and then I find it in the trash can. So then, Miss Mature, I hide it like in his algebra book so that when he gets to school and opens his algebra book, it'll fall out. I think we had some fun with that book. But I can't say that I gave the best sex education either. Oh, final note. John Ronson, who is one of my favorite journalists, he's a Brit, he's an Englishman. He has a great podcast on Audible. It's free if you have Audible, and it's called The Butterfly Effect, and it is all about pornography and how the internet changed pornography, and how also this has changed the way that kids view sex, have sex, what they want. Anyway, it's an awesome podcast, The Butterfly Effect by John Ronson. So tell me about your sex life or lack of sex life. What do you prefer to do? Let's just get one more. Look, it's a sexy video. Oh my gosh, can you believe that? You know what, guys? That is not for the male gaze. That's just so when I'm 87 and I look back at these videos, I'm like, that wasn't so bad. See y'all later.
Hey y'all, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you'll like and subscribe to my channel. And if you like this episode, I hope that you'll copy this link, share it with a friend, paint it on a wall, put it on your social media. That'd be great. Thanks a million. Take it easy.